into the
Recording.
deep fryer. Set the timer. Wait for the timer to beep. Pull basket out of deep fryer. Dump fries into the heater. That was it. Like you literally yeah, ding, fries are done. Yeah, it's like that song. That's exactly how it was. You just dump frozen fries into the deep fryer, wait for them to be done, dump them out. A robot could easily do that. An AI could easily do that. Probably would hurt itself a lot less in the process, too. Anyway, yeah, McDonald's can't figure that out. I guess McDonald's workers aren't as smart as Burger King, huh? Uh-huh. Miss Brady pointed to one team that used Copilot to transform lengthy market analyst report to 30-minute podcast, making the information far easier to digest. Some of those tips and tricks are definitely things we're finding is working, and we're absolutely finding our teams really curious and eager to learn. Her comments came as Telstra posted its slowest mobile growth in 4 years, following a shutdown of its 3G network. Annual net profit surged 31% to $2.34 billion, driven largely by aggressive cost cutting, including 550 job cuts announced in July on top of nearly 1,900 roles shed in early current year -1. And I want you guys to pay attention to this too, because I am sick to death of seeing stories about companies that after they lay off like 5,000 people, then they announce record profits. And then you've got all these economically illiterate morons out there. Oh, they're firing people despite making record profits? Oh my God. One of the reasons they made record profits is because they fired people. And plus, a lot of times firing people, like especially if the company's not doing too well, that is generally done as a show of good faith to investors that you're willing to fix the company and do what it takes to make it profitable again, to turn it around, which causes the investors to not only not flee, but sometimes to actually dump more money into your company. So yes, firing people can and will lead to record profits depending on how it's done. But most of the people who talk about this crap have no understanding of economics or this process or none of that. And the saddest thing is when all the people on quote-unquote our side are making videos parroting all these bad talking points, like, oh my God, that's just going to kill your credibility with anyone who actually understands this process. So now they're no longer going to believe anything else you say. My revenue was flat at 23.9 billion. Oh, okay, so profits went up to 2.34 billion. Revenue was flat to 23. Okay, so that makes sense. I thought maybe they got the decimal off or something, but no, that makes sense. So despite revenue staying the same, they increased their profits partly by getting rid of them. Now, it all checks out. I just have to double check the numbers, because a lot of times in these articles, they fuck the numbers up. But these make sense. Despite the soft mobile performance, Telstra will return $1.1 billion to investors through a share buyback and lift its full-year dividend to 5.6% to 13 cents. It follows a $750 million buyback just 2 months earlier. We are focused on continuing to deliver value for our shareholders, carefully considering prospects of investing in the local business and potential additional shareholder return. And that is the one and only thing they care about, is increasing shareholder value. They couldn't care less about making better products or having happier customers. If those things would lead to increased shareholder values, I guess they might do them, as a side effect. But literally the only thing they care about is shareholder value. Announcement comes as Victorian government proposes mandating 2 days a week working from home for eligible staff. A move opposed by major business groups, which say such rules interfere with employer-employee agreements. So, I mean, you wouldn't have a problem with something like this if it would favor the company. But if it favors the employee, all of a sudden they care about agreements. That's just kind of odd. That's fine.
fucker.
Furious feminazi comedian blames Oasis after she cancels Edinburgh Fringe gigs because people want to watch them rather than her. Yeah, this is the free market. Maybe if you were better than them, they'd rather watch you. A stand-up comedian, self-proclaimed, Kate Smurthwaite has blamed Oasis for having to cancel 2 of her shows when no one turned up to her Edinburgh Fringe gigs. Oh yeah, it has nothing to do with her own lack of talent. Yeah, it's got to be Oasis' fault. The television regular? Oh, there we go. That makes sense. So yeah, she thought she was hot shit because the DEI hires on television they were inviting her to fill a quota. Like, oh crap, man, we're doing this comedy segment and we got some funny guys, but we need at least one woman who's available, who's the cheapest one we can bring over. Just no, it doesn't matter. We're just going to give her like 2 minutes and send her on her way, but it counts as a TV appearance, right? Regular 49 describes her as a left-wing feminazi, atheist, polyamorous comedian, and activist. So, self-proclaimed walking red flag is performing at the comedy festival, but was yesterday forced to cancel her gigs due to zero audience, literally zero, despite her shows being free. Okay, that is the best part. People would rather pay to go see Oasis than get her shit for free. Yeah, once again, this is the free market in action. Like, look, if you had the option between paying $20 for a gourmet burger or eating a bucket of shit for free, which one would you take? I think the answer is very obvious. Instead of leaving self-proclaimed stand-ups at Black Minster shows due to Oasis performing at Greenville Stadium in the Scottish capital this weekend, she called on the Gallagher brothers to be more considerate. Yeah, well, haven't you guys considered that there might be other people that want to compete with you and aren't as good as you? Yeah, can you give yourselves to give them an unfair advantage? Oasis not due to perform in Edinburgh until Friday, while Kate's canceled gigs were due to take place on Tuesday. Oh man, so there's literally no excuse then, is there? How the hell could you even possibly blame them for this one? Oh yeah, sorry, I did visit your free alleged comedy event because in 3 days I need to pay for an Oasis concert. Man, the video filmed at the Banshee Labyrinth. Alicia one was going to be there to see you, but maybe some of the people that were there to see Oasis might have come to see you. It was a good bet. And we all knew better. Oasis themselves must remember what it was like being regular performers trying to make a living. They could have played Edinburgh any dates they wanted. No, because they do tours. They got a plan like an entire 3-month tour at once. No, they couldn't do it whenever they wanted. You wouldn't know that though, would you? Because you're not in that high up position, and you never will be. But the comedian faced backlash to those defending Oasis their upcoming gigs on the 8th, 9th, and 12th of August. Roman Lavender wrote, "Without due respect, Oasis is not the reason nobody showed up." Yeah, I mean, consider looking in the mirror. Scott Lang said, maybe people just don't fancy going to your show. It's not the Oasis effect. Oasis gig goes, won't attend the Fringe. I am in the Edinburgh resident and don't attend any Fringe and never have. I mean, that's pretty much true for every place that does these weird hipster events. Yeah, most of the people that live there, let's be honest, unless you're a business owner whose business actively benefits from the foot traffic, most residents find events like this a nuisance. Every time they're happening, people are like, when's it going to be over? Accommodation is always a huge price hike, and again, nothing to do with Oasis, the council and landlords price hiking. Banshee is a good wee venue, but maybe, just maybe, don't look back in anger and stop crying your heart out. Another wrote, "Not convinced anyone that normally frequents the Banshee is off to an Oasis show." My fellow stand-up Yvonne Hughes, however, agreed with Kate about her predicament, writing, "I have 0 leave for tomorrow, 2 local folk today. People are deliberately staying away because of Oasis." You sure it's not because of you? I notice it's another Whammies. Another performer, Amy Cooper, another Whammies. The Jesus, we knew the Oasis effect would be bad, but seeing this is making it more real. Sorry if this has to happen, Kate. Well, where's your Dave Chappelle's or Jeff Foxworthy's to actually bring in an audience? The comedian previously debated Piers Morgan on Good Morning Britain, where she revealed she embraces her natural body hair. I wonder if she's ever been confused for being a Sasquatch. The debate started with Piers Morgan asking if the women's growing body hair was helping feminazism or promoting laziness. It's definitely promoting laziness, and it's helping everyone else realize what feminazis are all about. And I wanted to ask Kate if she had any problems with men because of it. It's funny how people care about how men will react, but I'm polyamorous and have several boyfriends, so I'm fine, thanks. I call bullshit on that. Now, Kate said that going unshaved is actually an advantage in a relationship, saying it filters out the kind of man who thinks that important, which is a plus for me. Now, I will give credit where it's due. I can appreciate this attitude. That this is who I am, and if it filters out those who don't like it, then I wouldn't want to be with them anyway. All right? I can appreciate that attitude. I agree with that statement. It just better not be followed up with a TikTok video of her crying. Why am I alone in my 50s? Where are all the good men? However, her fellow guest replied, "I'm sorry, I know it's your personal choice, but I find it repulsive. It's the hygienic aspect of it." Pulling up her arm and wafting it into her fellow panelist's face, Kate said it's not smelly. While the guest went on to turn away from her and visibly wretched at the situation while Kate laughed about it. Yeah, I'm sure men are lining up to get with this princess. The lack of self-awareness, man, it's to be expected at this point. Yeah, feminism is male repellent. Yeah, so they say things like this, right? That, oh yeah, a guy that wouldn't like this, I don't want them anyway. And meanwhile, when men are openly saying they refuse to date woke women, then they had a problem. Now, how dare they be allowed to do that? That's misogynist. Yeah, but doesn't that go against with what you previously said? That you wouldn't want those guys anyway? I guess it's different if it is a guy that she would want. Like, we saw that with Midtown. When it was just a bunch of random, quote-unquote, guys nobody wants anyway, or a bunch of faceless accounts on the internet, women's were laughing it off. Oh, a bunch of incels whining, don't worry. No one wants them anyway. Just point and laugh. And then people like Henry Cavill started spouting MGTOW adjacent talking points. And now suddenly, oh my God, we need to stop this. Women's are in danger. Yeah, once the Chads and the Tyrones started following the MGTOW philosophy, then all of a sudden these women's were like, hey, wait a minute.
I'm ready. Dumbest TikTok trends ever. Another really dumb one was filing down your teeth as well. I just thought of that one.
A new trend on social media is raising serious concern among local police departments.
She looks like Hillary
It
Clinton.
involves people shooting innocent bystanders with water pellets.
Please, don't pee your pants for TikTok. This is perhaps...
There's a lot of VTubers that have pissed themselves for stream. Yeah. I don't know, man. Peeing your pants for content, that's strong.
one of the dumbest challenges next to eating Tide Pods that I've ever witnessed.
TikTok is not reality to real life, but there's real consequences for some of those things that go on there.
TikTok created the internet's worst challenges, and as of right now, TikTok could potentially be banned. Today, we'll explore.
How old is this? 2 months ago? Were they talking about TikTok getting banned? I don't remember.
Or the dumbest
Everything's blended
TikTok
in
trends
chat.
ever, starting with the weird ones to straight up insane. So my goal this year is to give you guys double the amount of videos without
Whoa.
sacrificing